What is up? Let's hop right into this first demo of today. We have 3 set up. We got Dispatch, super stoked. We got Cozy something, some hauling game. Collector's Cove. It didn't have the word cozy in it at all. Never mind. My bad. And then we have Death and Faeology. We're going to start with this one. Then we'll move to the less serious, but still kind of serious, I think. Funny-ish. Dispatch. I hope it's Telltale, so I assume it's slightly serious, slightly funny. They're really good at balancing the two in the story, and then end with a nice cozy one. I don't know what to expect from this game. Honestly, this is kind of the wild card, so we'll see what happens. New game. What is your name? Empleh. Empleh the J. All right. ETJ. Oh yeah, nice. They're very professional. Okay. Oh crap. Grading first-year assignments can be such an exercise in patience. I have to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent science, only a couple of decades old. This university, the only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. What year is it? It is still barely acknowledged in the academic field. That makes sense since it's new. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices. Okay, prejudices, not bueno, guys. Don't be prejudiced, okay? If you're prejudiced, stop being prejudiced. Start being cool. The human world has formed its own notion of fairies. I mean, own notion? Isn't there like only one notion of fairies? Just fairies? Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a big sigh every time I read references to poison apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. You mean the one time you sighed once and then never again because it has never happened outside of Snow White? A reference to the Cottingley fairies is one I can understand since it was quite the sensation not too long ago. Although it be clear in the eyes of renowned Faeologists that the photographs are mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. Means Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, a widely accomplished and beloved author? Yeah, okay. I ought to take a break. The grading session today has taken me quite a tangent. Ooh, pretentious. My beloved Oz. Is that a fairy? That's like a moth. With like sex legs. I suppose having a fairy... Oh, it is a fairy. That's what fairies look like, guys. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. I'd say a break is in order. Wouldn't you, Oz? Why did it stop lighting up? Oz responds through trills that I've learned to interpret over the decades I've known. Decades? Holy crap. The Cottingley fairies again? I guess it's Oz talking, like, mentally? Yes, and princesses' eternal slumber due to poison apples. What is it? Dude, let it go. We don't care much for human princesses, but making poison apples is rather... Should I do a voice? I kind of want to do a voice, but it also like hurts my voice when I have to do this for a very long time. At least one of the games we're going to play is definitely going to have voices. I think Dispatch is definitely going to have a voice, and then I don't know what's going to go on with the other game. But what's a good fairy voice? But making poison apples is rather an easy feat. I don't know, does it sound pretentious enough? I feel like they're both pretentious. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Fae folk is capable of more than that? At the same time showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch? I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might just quit that same day if you do that. Besides, if other Faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. Why? Do they not believe in fairies even though, like, fairies existed in... Okay, never mind. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a dude or a lady. I don't know how all the fairies work. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. Oh, childhood besties. You've saved me from countless times since... What are you doing that you need to be saved countless times? Well, you could let me bleed to death when you found me. Okay, we saved them, and then they returned the favor a bunch of times. I would never. I could hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. It seems that even the laugh of a fairy possesses some magical quality. While you're on a break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Hinkle's letter. Thanks for reminding me. I retrieved the letter from my patron from my desk drawer. I lean back on my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dear Empleh TJ, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Lios Gala? You could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of whiling away an evening with champagne and canapes and invigorating company. And when I say invigorating, I'm not speaking of those old sods with deep pockets ready to be exploited by way of funding grants for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Do write to me sometime before Saturday. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oh, I know. My delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the looks from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Do people look at wet blankets like that? I feel like no. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz's replying chirp is decidedly indignant. I nod to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Hinkle's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. Speakeasy? How old is it? If your old friend Detective Krause hadn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened? I found myself rather perturbed at this revelation. I would have telephoned Ruthie and asked what the story was, like when we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. I resumed reading my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have the two of you been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at least last week's breakfast. I couldn't help assuming that this persistently frosty treatment of me might have had something to do with it. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in a rather bitter taste. As you have told me more than once, when it was good, there was nothing else quite like it. Yet you speak a little of him now. You speak very little of him now, and I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. The letter is signed, Yours Everlasting, Oscar Hinkle. Well, I've kept Mr. Hinkle waiting long enough. I press a pen to a fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Just then, a familiar rhythmic tap. What do you mean familiar? It's a knock on a door. Rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged himself into themselves. Okay. No gender in the fairy world, I guess. In a heartbeat. I put Mr. Hinkle's letter in the drawer before calling out. Come in, Minnie. Oh, cute. I'm not a big fan of this hairstyle. Usually. Some people can pull it off. Not so much her right now. My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. Professor. Yes, Minnie. Why am I calling her Minnie? Her name's Minerva. That feels really personal. Were you talking to yourself again? That's right. You know me. I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought while hearing the mumbling sounds of me speaking with Oz, but she knows when not to poke her nose into things. One of the things I like about her, and also what makes her the bee's knees when it comes to being in this, oh my god, the language, man, the language. I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here. Who? The police detective from the newspaper. Police detective? Even as I echo these two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You know, the man who made you crumple the papers and toss them into the trash can. In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. Detective Theodore Krause? Yes, that's the one. Knowing Theo is here makes my world go momentarily off kilt. It's as if, by the magic of the fairy tales I maligned, the ink in the patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. Can't you tell him I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of campus or something? That depends. Is a lie like that going to deter this man? An astute question. She is truly wise beyond her years. Is she? I don't feel like that makes her wise beyond her. I don't know. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. All right, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to the reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. Ooh. He drops the box on my desk right off the bat. What is this? Why is he in my office? Well, well, look who the cat dragged in. Not even a how do you do. What? Do nicety suddenly mean something to you? I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out without so much as a goodbye. There was no one to say goodbye to. Didn't you find out I left only a few days later? At least it made it easier for you to leave, didn't it? There was a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel the piercing, icy silence creeping in. I ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box? What's in the box? He lets out a deep sigh that rather sounds like relief. Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left. Even that oddly crafting handkerchief you loved so much. That handkerchief was a gift for you. I see the corner of his mouth twitch. He's lying. What should I do with his information? Reach out for the box to check. Respond in disbelief. Reach out for the box to check. I quickly stretch out my hand to the box, and he's just as fast in catching my wrist before I can open it. I withdraw my hand from the grip swiftly, like a startled bird soaring into the sky. That truly caught me off guard. I've forgotten what his hand feels like. I was only kidding. Although you really haven't changed much, have you? You just went straight for the box. He sounds amused and slightly pleased, as if he just confirmed the accuracy of one of his deductions. Neither have you. I threw all of it away right before you vanished. He says with a subtle squint in his left eye, another lying tale of his. I can't help but sigh at his antics. Of course you did. So what's really in the box? Want to take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole Al Capone gang by himself and take the bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Case evidence? I've seen boxes like this one before, but never one quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. The biggest of my career. And to come to me of all people, you must put your wits' end about this. He looks away as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are. Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than have to see you again. Gee, that stings a little. You literally just said the exact same thing about him. Why does that sting? You knew that was what was happening. Okay. So why would you... Hold on a minute. You think this is some sort of connection to fairies? He flicks his tongue in exasperation. Oh my. It seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about fairies at some point when we were still together. Those talks always led to a heated discussion and then into arguments because nothing I could say could change his skepticism towards my mystical beings. This is certainly the chance to tease him about it, though it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone through to get here. What should I do next? I'd tease him, ask about his thoughts. Let's talk, ask about his thoughts. I know this must be hard for you, but I can't help you if you don't say anything. He sighs. You're right. As difficult as it is to admit, the things you told me before about fairies and whatnot might have helped to make a sense of this case. But I have to say, for the sake of my sanity, I still don't believe they exist. Fair enough. He appears pleasantly surprised by my answer, as though he was expecting a quarrel right around the corner. No. I am very easy to get along with. Little did he know, I've learned that it's moot to try to explain the otherworldly beings to him. So what makes this case so significant? Why do you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a bolt from the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze of mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation. Confidant. And I've known you for a fact, I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. I've known you for a fact can be discreet. There it is. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You got it. So, tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be of paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case, potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women residing north of the city. They're from old money families, the types that make regular appearances at high society events. I'm gonna have to go to that high society event, aren't I? Huh. Interesting. I see. No wonder you're all tensed up. You're telling me. Chief took me off every other case and insisted I put all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And with some of the victims' peculiar manners of death, he pauses. This is where the fairies come in. He silently stares and sighs. I swear I must be losing my mind. You've got this. Now he draws in a long, deep breath. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. The strangest case is the one where the body seemingly hardened into bone tissue overnight. Her corpse almost looked like a carved wooden statue. Oh, I've heard of something like that before. Of course you have. I frown at him. Don't start now. He clears his throat abashedly. Without finding out what caused these deaths, and more importantly, who did this, the press could spin the stories way out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making a razz on these poor women's deaths. Besides, what kind of depraved, sick jerk goes around murdering women in such a way? The city's already running on fumes. Crime's becoming more rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. There's no way to live. Even as he lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rising crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet, I am unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting in the front line. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper. You know, considering the victims' backgrounds, having these murders being exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible. No matter the cost. No matter who's to blame. You're right. Innocent people are going to bear the brunt for this. This is a terrible situation. I feel my stomach churning. My arms cross on instinct, trying to hold my own, I think we're just mirroring him, disquieted and quietude in place. Is there anything you can do? I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't keep those rotten police brass from lining their pockets. Nothing but a pack of lowlifes in high places. He exhales sharply, his voice laced with contempt. Then he fell into silence yet again. Similarly, words seem to abandon me, and I can't quite shake the feeling of helplessness crawling under my skin. After a minute, he meets my own eyes once more. Well, you're a good listener. Better than most. He curls his lips into almost a smile. I don't mind at all. Thanks. He clears his throat once more. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple of blood samples which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death I've said, forensics was puzzled too by the blood samples. How do they test blood samples back in the day? Like in this time period, did they test blood samples? How? I don't know. How so? One of them doesn't contain iron. That's interesting. Nothing surprises you, does it? Well, about this peculiarity. I'd bring up something from my fairy books, but you'd always find a way to deny it. You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibility of unknown drugs or poison that somehow cause these oddities. But I'd be a fool to not go after my hunches and look into all possibilities. What about robbery? It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in, nothing had been stolen. Also, robbers don't turn you into bone. Just saying. And motives? Revenge? We're still interviewing the city elites, looking for the possible motives. But it takes time. You know how it is. Yes, of course, they're very busy. Speaking of city elites, I know people who can be very helpful in getting some inside information. His expression turned sour at full tilt. Who? That man? I said people, but yes, that man would be particularly helpful in this matter. He scoffs brazenly and doesn't even try to hide it. Even at the first meeting with Mr. Hinkle, there was some inexplicable tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Hinkle feeling off and always hated it whenever I said something to do with him, though it might just be jealousy in disguise. You know I'm right. Even if he's barely in the newspapers, he's most likely at the pinnacle of high society. And I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about it. Why, of course, he's always got a soft spot for you. Hell, he's probably carried a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he follows you everywhere. Well, he happened to be interested in Faeology and has a lot of money to allow his development. Look at you, all ready to defend it. He didn't do anything wrong. What are you talking about? What, are you to an item now? I might have steered this reunion right back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Hinkle, but it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anybody else who would have that much information on high society. Besides, there's never really been anything. Even if we did go to fundraising events together from time to time, it was strictly business. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Hinkle. I don't have the time or the energy to argue with him. What should I do? Try to make him see reason. Explain the truth about the relationship with Mr. Hinkle. Truth. Always truth. We're not anything. We go to fundraising events from time to time, but these are work. I've got to get money for my research from somewhere, you know. Our relationship is strictly business. He gives me a dirty look. Sure, I believe you. No, he doesn't. Besides, what I do with him is none of your beeswax. His voice becomes even more irritated. That's right. It's not my concern. Do whatever you want with him. Just make sure you can keep his mouth shut about the case. I can't help but groan at this turn of events. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned before about blood that doesn't contain iron. I can take the blood samples of the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she's from a rich family. She might know some of the victims of their families at least. I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help with the case? That's right. There are lives at stake. He let out a soft smile, as though in quiet agreement with what I said. Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only. Understood. He has fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly, a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies? About Faeology? It depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if through your investigation you can provide some theories or 3 things. The culprit, the methods of murder, and the motives. Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one, for now. Fair enough. I wager to you? No. We have approximately 24 hours to get some sort of answer. An answer that makes sense. Wow. Okay, guess they just set up I need to do all the work and in a day. I can feel the papers are close to getting the story. While you're investigating this lead, I'll look further into unusual drugs and poisons. How about it, Faeologist? You dare take on this challenge? Do I? Accept the challenge. I'll help even without being challenged. It feels like he wants to play. Bring it on, detective. That brings a grin to his almost consistent, brooding expression. We know men, guys. We know men. Let's go. Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me. Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked. A promise. But I can't promise not to scoff from time to time. That's good enough. I'll have to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics. I mean, I'm not sure if I want to increase it by pinning a murder on one. That seems like a really stupid idea. It would make it feel more serious, but also threatening. We don't want them threatened. Otherwise, they're just going to see them all as enemies. They're going to see them all as dangerous, and then it's going to be a huge problem. It seems like some detective has been following the tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper. Says you? The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting the headlines. How do you... Before I could finish, he had walked towards the door and opened it. See you tomorrow around the same time. Okie doke. I hear the door closed. Hey! I exclaimed with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized that he must have noticed the missing newspaper on my desk and my assistant's. Reading papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. Or I already read it and threw it away. As I'm reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, Oz reveals themselves again, now that we're all alone. That was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? I suppose. Although you don't have an obligation to help him. I know, but I've already agreed. Very well. Just don't overwork yourself. Yeah, thanks, Oz. I found myself slowly drifting into thoughts. A victim's manner of death, hardening into bony tissue, could be one of the fairy curses, ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this, and which one, but it's not that simple. What, you think all fairies know each other? Specious. Even if they are my longtime companion, fairies have their own rules about exchanging favors, and they are secret about their land, too. A favor like that doesn't come cheap. At least I'm stocked up on milk and honey for small requests. Speaking of requests, I should get started on a reply to my patron's letter. For some reason, he seems to be more insistent. Okay, this time, that I come with him to the gala. I retrieve a paper and a pen, and I mumble to myself as I write. Oh, that's like a loud writing noise. More loud writing noise. Upon signing off, I seal the letter with wax. I then turn toward my trusted Fae. Oz, can I please trouble you with something? You want me to deliver this letter to your patron, don't you? Indeed. Time is of the essence here. As always, please take care not to catch anybody's attention. He'll see it by tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Oz. I'm off. I'll see you later today. I watch as Oz flits out of my office window and vanishes. Once the Fae is gone, I call my assistant to my office. Yes, Professor. Hold on 1 second. I rifle through the contents of the box. Carefully, I extract the blood samples that Theo mentioned. They appear to be stored in test tubes. I'll do that, sure. As I hand the samples to her, I notice that she looks like she wants to say something. Over the 2 years we have been working together, I picked up a few of her tells. What is it, Minnie? How'd it go with the detective? If you don't mind my asking. Oh no, not at all. He's the same as always. There's lingering beef, of course, but we've sort of managed to put it aside for something more important. He has brought me a rather significant case that he suspects might have some supernatural elements, as hard as it was for him to admit it. Oh, good for him. I can't help but grin at her remark. I'm glad it didn't end in a shouting match, at least. Yes, me too. I'll deliver the blood samples now, Professor. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie hurries out. I'm alone in my office again. I remember the conversation about the case. I'm suddenly engulfed by unexplainable, eerie feelings. I should start the investigation right away. To the Batmobile! Drag and drop item from the inventory to the desk? Question? Wait, what? Was that... What? I want to go back. What? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, can I not? Okay. Okay. She died drinking milkshakes, just how she wanted to live. She died at a Kiss concert, understandable. She died mimicking her favorite painting from when she was a child, The Scream. She died eating chocolate pudding, as we all should. Okay, I really would like it to stop turning the music off when I click off of this thing. Yeah, like that. I don't. It won't let me read anything. Well, that's what. Was it the tools? Okay. Well, quite rare, some high fays can transform living beings into solid objects such as stone or bone. That's this lady, she got boned. Another example of fey magic is invisibility, which is similar, okay. Many high fays have heightened powers of suggestion through the emission of toxins capable of causing hypnosis or illusions. Probably one of these. One magic skill possessed by some fey is transfiguration, which is similar to metamorphosis. Wields of transfigurative spells can make... let's get you out of here. Can take on another form, including appearing human? Okay. So probably that guy I'm going on a date with or whatever. Or not date with, never mind. There are two main factions of high fae, the scribes and the warriors. The scribes are known for their defensive magic and their intelligence. The warriors are known for their power. Well, obviously, mages and warriors got it. Meanwhile, the low fae faction is comprised of faes with limited parasitic magic. They are a widely maligned species that like to consume human blood, hormones, and even souls. How do you... It feels like three very different methods of consuming humans. I don't know how you do that. That seems like you would need three different ways of doing that. And most people or like species just like come up with one way that they consume whatever they need for sustenance. And they don't figure out how to do blood and then also souls and then also hormones. The history of Fey class conflict is not very well documented. It appears that there are quarrels between these factions, as there is a certain level of disdain for the other faction. However, disputes also occur between fairies of the same faction. Nonetheless, both factions of High Fae deem parasites despicable Low Fae due to the limited and parasitic nature of their magic. Okay. All Fae kinds seem to be weak against iron, although a small amount of iron, such as in meat or blood, does not seem to ward off fairies. Historically, cold iron was often forged as weapons. Was it cold? And used to repel fairy magic. The intricate use of iron combined with physics and chemistry is applied by Faeologists to develop a special black light to detect and distinguish the magical essence of the three main types of Fae. That, yeah, and that, of course, yeah. Beneath the black light, scribe magic appears blue, warrior red, okay, yeah, and parasitic magic purple or violet. So what's orange? The same black light illumination on an object imbued with fairy magic may reveal intricate details of certain complex spells. Alright. The scribes are high fays who are capable of expressing benevolence and kindness that is similar to humans' kindness, and they tend to be friendlier to humans. I bet, however, this kindness is only shown in the form of favor exchanges, and they do not go out of their way to help others like humans would. The scribe magic that assists humans is contingent upon the favor that humans deliver to them. For example, some scribe fae may use their magic to give blessings to humans who have done very special favors or boons for them via inheritable and visible markings such as sigils or birthmarks. These blessings can last through generations. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool to learn. These blessings can last through generations. The rumored Fae-touched bloodlines have become wealthy and powerful through the decades that they have been favored. Oh, that seems unfair. However, they may also use... They might not even know. That's sad. However, they may also use their magic as a curse, sometimes even deadly, if they feel offended or insulted. Some scribe fairies are also prone to pranks and mischief when they are bored. Okay, so I'm guessing this is a rich person who realized they had powers and cursed these people? Probably a dude. The high fays of the warrior faction frequently reside in groups that are territorial. They are protective of their troops and tend to be unfriendly towards outsiders, especially if they come from the scribe faction or are human. Or human? Maybe human? Especially if they come from scribe faction or... Oh, if the people that are outsiders are human. Okay. They will smite anyone who interferes with their group. Humans entering their territory, even if accidentally, may face elimination through... Well, if they're in their house, that didn't happen. Elimination through the warrior's offensive magic. Although fairy warriors typically remain within their own kind and seldom venture beyond the boundaries of the fairy realm, they are known for their aggressive temperament and volatile disposition. Caution is strongly advised when encountering and interacting with these beings. How would you know if they're in a human form, though? Parasitic fairy. Fairies with limited magic consistently need to feed off of other sources of energy, mostly drained from humans, such as blood, hormones, emotions. And also, okay, they can also eat emotions now. Okay. Life force. However, the mechanisms and rates at which these drainage processes occur are greatly varied. There are unconfirmed rumors that some high fays like to capture humans and bring them into the fairyland for purposes such as forced reproduction, servitude, ritualized combat for their amusement, and so on. Okay, that sounds like a breeding camp. The fairies leave changelings behind to mask their absence. Interesting. I wonder how that works. Do changelings just like purposefully do that? Like, are they successful at it, do you think? If we found out about it, though. A changeling is composed of several fae, typically of the parasitic type, magically transformed to look almost like... So you have to change several of them to look like one person? How does that work? How do they function as one person? Look almost exactly like an abducted human, due to the complexity of the fae magic required. Okay, good, extra finger. Fae magic required to create a changeling. The enchantment almost always goes awry. Anomalies common among changelings include an extra finger or an extra toe. Nearby heat conductors, such as small metallic objects, have also been known to repel or to warp the magic, creating a changeling. Right? I've turned it on. I'm not going to be able to... Okay, I guess I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. It's the third victim's crime scene. Her fingers, I've seen corpses before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. Yeah, there's 6. Because she's probably a... Well, can they die as a changeling? Because she also has 6 fingers. Seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Her complexion is not quite the pale hue of death. Far paler than should be possible. Almost drained of color. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, I said that. You need to listen whenever I tell you things that are wrong. It seems to be the second victim. Yeah. Stop it. Okay. I don't need that, bro. There's the fourth victim's crime scene. Poor girl. It's a cruel thing to see youth being stolen so abruptly. Okay. I see 5 fingers. Great, great, great. Stop it! First victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, she also has 6. All of them have 6 except for her. Maybe she has an extra toe. Okay, well, 3 of them. This is the first victim. I'm gonna need you to calm down, bro. Stop picking up the wrong things. What is this? This is the second victim. Okay. Good. This third victim? Yeah, okay. I got him in order. Good. I don't know why. It worked out, though. Fourth victim. Great. Okay, well, 3 of them have too many fingers. Victim profile, Apple admitted in Wood City. The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. So are people killing changelings? So it might not be fairies, although I don't know how you would do that without it. Interviewing officers suspected due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. Forensic report no traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Woolridge. Now that's a familiar name. That was the first one. Let's put you on top of here. Skadoob. All right. Second victim. Let's go. What's going on here? Okay. Susan Moore, age 40 years old, refusing to drink anything but her own blood. Time of death or what? So she wanted to drink her own blood? Manner of death, refusing to drink anything but her own blood. What, did she refuse, or did she only drink her own blood? Like, did she want to, or was it against her will? I kind of need to know that. We'll figure that out, though. An affluent middle-aged woman in the city. The victim's mother reported that the victim was suffering from a prolonged paranoid episode in the days leading to her death. Specifically, the victim was acting erratically and saying strange things. Like what? Despite the manner of death, there are no signs of dehydration or hemochromatosis. No traces of drugs or poisons. A blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Okay, so she's a changeling. Maybe... Okay, maybe they're changelings and they were changed for so long that they started going crazy. Number 3. It's you. All right, Edna Nibbit, age 64 years old, gnawing her own fingers down to the bone. Oh, she did that. Okay. Explains why it's around her mouth and fingers. An affluent middle-aged woman in the city. A friend of the victim reported that she visited the victim's residence to drop off an invitation shortly prior to the victim's death. The friend also wanted to check out the victim's well-being, as she had allegedly been acting strangely at a party the night before. According to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation between the victim and a young factory girl. However, the friends didn't think much of the interaction at the time. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. So the friend found her and then dropped the card near her? Wouldn't she have dropped the card as soon as she saw her? No traces of drugs or poison. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Okay, well, I didn't actually pay attention to this one. Oh, no, not that one. 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 I need this case report. I didn't read it. It started talking without me. Okay. 51 years old, hardening into bony tissue. From afar, the corpse was like a carved wooden statue. Time of death around 1 p.m. An affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Why did they all say that? The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer suspected due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. No traces of drugs or poison. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death, Woolridge. Now that's a familiar name. Mary Hatcher, age 19 years old. Death from shock due to arsenic poisoning around 6 p.m. Okay. Young factory girl. Oh, she was yelling with her, I guess. Despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profile, she has been preliminary. Oh, these were changelings. She was not, but she was arguing with her about something. So she is probably just collateral damage. Okay, despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profile, she has been preliminarily included in this case because she was seen having a heated conversation with a third victim shortly before the victim's death. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her death, the victim visited the police station. According to the interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She didn't appear to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to the interviewing officer. Prior to death, the victim suffered from violent abdominal cramps, followed by diarrhea and vomiting, consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. How do you know that? How do you know that she suffered from that? Did she tell people? Because I feel like she died shortly after. suffered from violent abdominal cramps followed by diarrhea and vomiting. Mayhaps she was bred by Fae folk? Traces of said poison can be found in blood, type A, and the glass she was drinking from near the time of death. Glass she was drinking from near the time of death. Okay. Blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Neat. Alright, let's put all these back. Put all these back. I guess there's not enough to go on yet. Let's drop this. All on the floor. Drop this. Let me some more. Drop this. Let's help. Oh. With the magnifying glass and evidence to access the information, see the details in it. Use the blacklight to see invisible. Does it also work in the things? Read the encyclopedia to gain additional information. Similar to each other beneath the special blacklight, some species of butterflies can glow. Okay. Press the button to end the investigation. End the investigation. Confirm. Firm. Oh, a knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize that the sun is set while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Come in. My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples, and she wants to talk to you. Already? Yes. She's just out of the door. I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. Alright, send her in. Minnie nods. Minnie's kind of growing on me. She turns to the receptionist. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It has been only 3 years since she has worked at the university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not. Good evening, Professor. Feels like a more rich lady thing. Good evening, Professor. No, I need no, we need like a nerdy science voice. Good evening, Professor. No, that's a guy. That's not like a nerdy guy. Although she does kind of have that ho 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 laugh kind of vibe to her, right? Let's see what her personality is first. I have to give her a number. Good evening, Professor. Good evening. No. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report. Here you go. No, here you go. Thank you. So what have you found? The most peculiar thing is that there is no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this fairy related? Her question prompts me to ask myself, to what extent of the case can I divulge to her? Theo did say that I may ask the patron ask the patron or her for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, and she handles seeing crime scene photographs. I feel like she can. I feel like she's the type of person who can. As I return from my thoughts, I notice her voice has taken on a peculiarly high pitch. This is exciting! Are you working with the police? Does this mean that we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in newspapers, aren't we? And not the usual corner spots too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself. It appears she took my silence as a yes. Oh, I think that voice is too close to the Fae, to Oz. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. The specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my... Oh my god, okay. Special delivery. Mr. Hinkle's hands are empty. And what, pray, might you be bringing for me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Hinkle? If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. That's a huckleberry muffin. Minerva was instantly enamored by the buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll leave a muffin a piece for the rest of us. Oh, hello there, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office. Hello, Mr. Hinkle. Fancy seeing you here. Although you do have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus. She chuckles.
That's just because this is where all my money went. A well-spent investment, nonetheless.
I wonder why all his money went here. Huh. He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky.
So, Florence, what's been occupying your time as of late?
She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me. The usual matters, I suppose.
I tried asking your father about you at the last soiree. However, he confessed he didn't have the faintest idea. You must tell me more about your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end.
You know I can share all that, Mr. Hinkle. Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor, then all their secrets are yours. A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time.
I'm afraid I'm all tapped out, financially speaking.
Oh, I'm not buying that, not for a second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor? Well, now, I certainly don't want to get in the middle of a money talk of the rich. I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage, naturally. Mr. Hinkle laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before the conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Hinkle, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox only this afternoon, I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assent.
Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps that is why you are such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it spoken.
Ugh, he is such a horn dog.
Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance?
I think you're the one with all the spells, Mr. Hinkle. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down. Huh, I wonder if there is some sort of spell on those muffins. Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time I take my leave and let you both be. I'm due somewhere shortly anyhow.
Oh no, that might not be necessary. I can't stay long either.
Mr. Hinkle lapses into silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I'll discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Hinkle to return another day since I need to have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I dismiss the chemist and meet with my patron now? These are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on any case may be a good idea. She could share more insight into the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder, makeup, and evidence. Wow, okay, that worked out. She would also know the social happenings among the wealthy allies. On the other hand, Mr. Hinkle is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections within high society know no bounds. Everybody seems to know him one way or another. He might know things about Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he has been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with fairy topics. Should I interview? Obviously, Dr. Rayford. I need the case solved by tomorrow. He doesn't have evidence I need. She might. Dr. Rayford, would you mind staying a little longer? I'd like to hear your opinion about something. Dr. Rayford glances at me, and then Mr. Hinkle, and then back at me with a glimmer of mischief in her eyes. Smile. Are you sure, Professor? I let out a resigned sigh. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to deal with her teasing. Yes. When I address my patron once more, regret colors my tone. Mr. Hinkle, would you mind coming back another day? I have something crucial to discuss with the doctor at present.
Of course. I understand your scientific pursuits precede all else. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you for dropping off those muffins. He only replies with a smile.
I'll see you soon, right?
As soon as possible, I promise. Mr. Hinkle and Dr. Rayford exchange brief goodbyes. My patron then departs. Call him by his name. I'm alone with the chemist again. Doctor, I might need your further assistance regarding blood samples, and also something more pressing.
So it is true you are working with the police?
I suppose. Detective Krause consulted me this morning about an ongoing criminal case.
Oh, do I sense some old flame flickering back to life?
Your eyes are tricking you, Doctor. It has been ashes for a long time now, and nothing has changed. There was a hint of disbelief in her eyes, but I won't indulge in her playful teasing as there is more important matter at hand. I clear my throat. So, I would also like to ask you for information, as you may be acquainted with some of the victims or their friends and families. All right. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you, although I do need your sworn secrecy on this. Of course. I'm adept at keeping secrets. You need not worry. Those samples I analyzed are part of my evidence in this case, right? That's right. Let us begin. I tell her the fundamental facts of the case while she listens silently all the while. When I finish my summation, she has only one word to say to me. Interesting. Record? What's this? Makeup? Old coin? Where did I get makeup in an old coin? These weren't in my inventory. Hold on. Where did I get these? Huh? These were not in my inventory when I went looking through stuff. Miss Moore. She seems to recognize the victim quite fast. We've met once or twice at a clothing store and exchanged a few pleasantries. Occasionally, I would see her and her husband at various dinner parties as well. They were a lovely couple. Alright, cool. There was no sound to be heard as she stares at the photograph for a little while. I wonder if it's too much for her. Is this Miss Woolridge? It's a little difficult to recognize her because of the... well... She speaks with her unusual sunny lilt, which is quite surprising. I guess she has got a strong stomach. Yes, you're correct. What do you know of her? Everyone knows her and her family, that's pretty sure. They're one of the richest in the city, the elites of the elites. Accordingly, their circle consists only of very selective people, such as your patron, I imagine. Oh, and their family likes to host charity events. Did you ever know her to dabble in occult matters? Unfortunately, what I told you previously is all I know about her. If she did dabble, do you think maybe her manner of death is a result of occult matters? It is certainly a possibility. I bet. Oh yes, I know her, although I can't seem to recall her name. Miss Niblet. That's a stupid name, though. That's right. I saw her quite often at the auction, only going for rare coins. As usual, the winning bid was hers. I wonder if some of those coins carried some sort of curse, since they came from God knows where. Alright, bet. Let's try this lady you probably don't know. Do you happen to know this girl? Oh, there's another photograph in there that was not in there when I was at my desk. Unfortunately, no, I don't know her. It's surprising that she seemed rather unfazed by quite the gruesome photograph. Oh, that's me. What I just said, but in my voice. I wonder if she had seen worse deaths caused by chemicals. Although even if I had seen worse, I doubt I could muster such sheer. Also, she knew them personally, so I never realized this particular side of her. Skadoosh. Skadiddly. This is a family photograph of the Woolridges. Ah, yes, it was elsewhere, everywhere in the papers when her father married the famous and one of the most beautiful socialites. The other man here is Miss Woolridge's stepbrother. Do you know anything about these people? Aside from being fabulously wealthy and well-known, not particularly. Well, you're not much help here. This is Miss Moore and her family. Could you tell me what you know of them? Well, I've heard that Miss Moore's biological parents passed away. She was adopted by her parents' trusted employees, from whom she received a lot of love. These employees couldn't have children, you see. Her biological parents left her a substantial inheritance, which she received when she came of age. Then she was married, out of love, to a wealthy entrepreneur. They were hand in hand wherever they went. It's a sad thing. Her luck seemed to slip away just when she needed it the most. Oh, okay, so the good fortune's gone. Interesting. Did the blessings of the Fae end and then backfire? No more about Miss Moore than she let on earlier. While she sounds quite sympathetic, I can somehow sense a hint of jealousy in her voice. She's dead. Maybe not. Never seen this kind of coin before. Is it rare? She don't know nothing. My parents' greatest achievement. It's one of the things I wanted to ask you, Doctor. I don't know much about makeup. How popular is this powder among high society? The powder has been the craze lately among the upper class since my parents have successfully gotten Mary Pickford to do its advertisements. Well, I'll be. You think there might be iron in the makeup? Maybe there's iron in the coin? Iron in the ring? Huh. Interesting. My, are you proposing to me? Maybe. I kind of like your personality. I'm afraid my heart still belongs to my late husband. Oh, never mind. I can hear sorrow seeping through her peppy voice. Quietly, I slipped the ring back into the box. Ain't be it. This is tomorrow's gala. I'll not be going there since the opera is playing. I didn't know you were into opera, Doctor. My late husband and I used to go there for one of our date nights. Sadness leaks through her eye. Okay. She's leaking in our office, guys. Her eyes, even though her smile stays bright. I had the faintest she'd been married before. You just said she was married before on the other... Okay, never mind. Speaking of which, I spotted Detective Krause at the Met during last month's performance. He appeared to be enjoying the opera, accompanied by an attractive, tall, blonde woman. It was quite the unexpected sight. I never took him for an admirer of opera. Well, that's a new one to me, but alright. Let's see. I've done my best to put all the details there, although I've done all my best to put all the details there, although I might have missed something regarding the curious blood sample. Hi. Yes, the most intriguing piece of evidence. It's weird, isn't it, that it doesn't contain iron at all, even though it looks just like human blood. Not to mention the high percentage of phosphorus. Would you let me know if it ended up being a fairy after all? Only if I'm allowed. Is there any insight from chemistry as to why there would be no iron in a red-colored blood? Sadly, no. I'm just as puzzled myself. Okay, I think I got it. They were all changelings, and this stuff had iron in them. And that screwed them up. I found traces of arsenic in the blood sample. Yes, that was reported by the forensics team, too. One wonders who could have done such a thing to the poor girl. Actually, chemists do sell arsenic to common people to make their own weed killer and rat poison. I haven't done that in some time. Not since the university gone. Oh, she's a bad lady. Okay. But I'm sure the detective has asked his henchmen to collect purchase. She's rich, though. Why would she need to do that? Okay. Collect purchase records from chemists all over the city, don't you think? Okay, yeah, that's my guess of what needs to happen. What is this? Larry? Oh, get on here. End interview. Are you sure you've gotten all the information? I literally got everything. I have no further questions. I believe I have enough information for now. Is that so? Well, alright. Earlier you mentioned you had a prior engagement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. It's no problem. Don't hesitate to reach out if you require anything else. I give her a brief nod. Also, grab a muffin on your way out, man, if you didn't eat them all. Dr. Rayford then departs from my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops in the office. Professor, I'm heading home soon. Is there anything else I can do to help? No, I'll be perfectly fine. I think I'll stay and work for a bit longer. Okay, see you tomorrow, Professor. Have a safe trip home. Upon wishing me the same, Minnie leaves. I have some time until I have to wrap up my work day and head home from the office. Okay, now we got stuff. Guys. Red. That is, that's a warrior. What's happening? Okay, purple is Wario. Why is it turning black, though? 2 L's. The texture looks interesting. Alright, it's burning. It's burning down the house. Okay. We kind of just destroyed this evidence. Sorry, boss. Wait, I didn't... What? I did not switch. Oh, did that... Was that coin a fairy? A failed transformation magic? Is that... I've seen this before. This is a parasitic fae. Okay, so the coin was secretly a fairy the whole time? Alright, well, let's put that back in my pocket. Okay. Looks... I open this. No surprise, this powder has been all the rage with the upper set. They managed to get Mary Pickford for the advertisements. That must have been where I knew it from. Is this also a fae? Okay, so the coin was a fairy the whole time. Alright. Can I not open this? Record. There was nothing on that. Oh. Okay. You can't even begin to imagine how her husband must feel losing this soulmate this way, his soulmate this way. Okay, well that's also warrior magic. Because it's red. It didn't transform into anything though. Boop. Wait, what's that on her hand? What is, huh? Oh, that? Okay, so she had a mark for don't die-ness. Was she one of these? Was she that one? That's on her left hand, and that's the hand we're looking at. So that's not her then. Wait, what's that on her hand? Well, we kind of already know what's on her hand. The man in the darker suit seems to be her husband of the victim. Well, that's the victim, but she doesn't have anything on her hand. This means the other two are the victim's adopted parents. Okay. I can't tell. I'm guessing the same amount of fingers on both hands. It's hard to tell. Okay, so that's her. She doesn't have a mark though. What do you mean? What's that on her? I wasn't even looking at her hand when you said that. And there's no mark on her hand now that she's dead. Like, is she one of the other ones? Is that one of the... I didn't know you could see things in pictures. I thought it had to be actual objects. Okay. I'm hearing a whoosh noise, but I'm thinking that's just like the regular thing. I saw something on their hands. Oh, both of them. Okay. So this middle-aged woman in the collared blouse and the elder man in the suit are father and daughter related by blood. Okay, so these are the same two people? It's like the same person. And the other two are the stepmother and stepbrother. Is she their kid? Hold on. They call it an elder man and the suitor of father and their father and daughter. Well, she looks just like her. Is she their kid? Okay. Is she his kid? Did he bang someone else? And she doesn't know. Well, she probably did. Okay. She has the same mark as those two. So I'm guessing secret daughter. Then she's the dead one here? Because it's hard to tell what color her hair is. But she looks like she has this hair? That guy's not dead, though. These two's is dead. Alright. Feels like... Okay, she... So are the children paying for something the parents did? To, like, break a curse or something? Well, these are changelings, though. Because of the number of fingers on their hands. But they also have the hand magic from being blessed by it. So, huh. Why would they be changelings and also blessed by the Fae? This is mine. What Dr. Rayford said about Theo comes to mind. I wonder if he has moved on after all. Okie dokie. Okie dokie Loki. Okay, so what it feels like. That was some warrior magic. So maybe... But if they got the changelings happen when they kidnap people, so they would have to kidnap the daughters, and then the changelings wouldn't have had the generational mark. Can I not leave? There it goes. It's the next afternoon. I should be grading assignments, or reviewing the lecture I'm going to deliver some Mondays, or do anything productive in the realm of professional duties. Instead, I find my attention straying more and more toward the office door. I voice my frustrations to good old Oz. Theo will probably arrive at any moment. I can't stop wondering whether my explanation will be enough for him. In the past, no sort of explanation ever seemed to please him when it came to fair. And why should I do it now? My voice cracks with concern. This time, he came to you bearing in mind the possibilities of fairy involvement. He'd be a fool if he discredits you so soon. My fairy companion's chirping becomes increasingly stern this time. But you need to get yourself together. You must remain steadfast and strong when facing the detective. Don't permit your voice to falter when presenting your findings. I know I can't let myself unravel at this point. It's just that he's never solicited my opinion quite in this manner. A professional insight, no less. All the more reason to be as calm as you can be. Maintaining your composure is essential to delivering a persuasive argument. But no matter what happens, at least you know you tried. At the end of the day, he's the one who needs to solve this case. You're right. Of course you are. I'm not a detective. I'm simply a professor sharing my perspective. Thank you, Oz. You're always talking me off the ledge. Just then, somebody knocks on the door. That's my cue to sail past your window ledge. Best of luck. I whisper a hurried goodbye to my fairy friend. I'll see you tonight, Oz. It's Ozin time. Once Oz has flown out, I direct my attention towards the door. Come in. My assistant marches in.
Professor, you have a visitor.
The detective? Minnie nods. All right, send him in. Minnie nods once again and walks out the room. Theo paces around a little bit after strolling in. He appears quite distracted. He finally stops and opens his mouth. So what have you learned? I took a deep breath. Here it goes. I had to present my findings to perhaps the most sought-after detective in the police force. Theo investigates cases right where the crime scenes unfolded. He's agonizingly familiar with the grit and the grime of the city's darkest recesses. Meanwhile, as a professor, my expertise primarily revolves around the nebulous, the theoretical. I must do my best to stay calm and collected, just as Oz suggested. I've read the case files. Victim's odd behavior shortly before death could be due to hypnotic spells from fairies. The fourth victim went to the police station, but before she said anything, it seemed she saw something that scared her away. What if she saw something not human? In the manner of death. He interrupts me before I can finish. I've no time for assumptions. The papers telephoned our department for this morning, and they found out about somebody's deaths. That's why he looks agitated. The chief is prepared a statement for tomorrow regarding this. So I'll just cut to the chase. Is there fairy involvement? Yes. Yes, I'm certain of it. I can tell his interest is piqued. However, I'd like to first lay out the basics, since I'm pretty sure you've discarded the things I've told you in the past. He grumbles as if an admission of my statement. So far, we've identified 3 classes of fairies: warrior, scribe, and parasitic fae. Warriors have strong offensive magic, scribes' magic tends to be defensive, and parasitic magic as well, parasitic. We Faeologists have developed a tool called Blacklight to detect traces of Fae magic. It can even be detected through photographs if the magic is especially strong. Warrior's magic glows red, scribe magic blue, and parasitic magic shines purple. I found that seemingly fairies of one specific class are behind this. Which one is the culprit? Here's the thing. Warrior magic. Okay, it's not just one though. There's like all 3 color magics and all this stuff. The blue magic technically didn't do anything. The blue magic feels like a generational thing, so that's not their fault. Red is on the coin, but so is purple. But I think the purple's coming from the fact that it is a parasitic thingy. So it's probably the warrior fae. They're of the warrior class. And what's the evidence? Makeup, 3rd victim's blood sample, dead fae, ring, photographs. What about the coin? What did makeup do? Makeup didn't do anything. The dead fae, I'm guessing. How does this prove warrior involvement? I put the dead fae beneath the black light. This is a dead parasitic fae. Look, it glows purple and red under the black light. I take it their bodies still glow even after they're dead? Correct. It takes a while until their magic is fully dissipated from the corpse. It honestly looks just like a normal bug to me. Hold on one second. I turn to the shelves and pick up one of the boxes containing a deceased insect from my ongoing research. I open the lid and show it to Theo. I found this one dying just yesterday. It died shortly after. Swiftly, I put it beneath the black light. A normal one doesn't glow, you see. Theo's expression is a blend of amusement and bewilderment. Quite interesting. And how does that end up here? A failed transformation magic. A parasitic fae that fed off the victim's life force sources, which became a casualty of murder. A failed transformation magic. Failed transformation magic. It's a parasitic fae that got warped by a coin due to transformation magic going awry. The coin and the evidence turned into this when I put it under the black light long enough, essentially revealing what it really was. So the 3rd victim, Miss Neblet, what about her? Mr. Hinkle said she has her numerous coin collections displayed in all rooms in her house. That particular coin must have been nearby when she met her fate. I can see a feeling of unease reflected in Theo's expression as he stares at me. I need a moment to digest all this. I nod and take a moment to arrange the box neatly before placing it back on the shelves. What else you got? Third victim blood sample, ring, photographs. The ring didn't do anything, but it had magic on it. How does this prove warrior involvement? I slot the blood sample beneath the black light to show the magic traces. You see, there's a glow of purple and red under the blood. Oh, was I supposed to look at the blood? Ruh-roh. How do the purple traces of parasitic magic, as you say, have a part in this? The blood is fairy blood. Parasitic underlings of warrior high fae helped with the murders. The blood is fairy blood. It's because the blood is fairies and their blood contains traces of their own magic. This is further supported by the blood sample analysis. Fairies' blood have high content of phosphorus, just like reported. Adding to that, the missing iron. Fairies have an aversion toward iron. They don't have it in their blood. They can still, however, withstand the iron in human blood. That's why some parasitic fae like to drink our blood. As I ramble on, Theo listens intently with a slightly surprised look on his face every time I start a new sentence. To be honest, I'm out of words at the moment. What else you got? The ring? How does this prove warrior involvement? I place the ring beneath the black light. You see, Miss Moore's ring glows purple and red under the black light. But why does it glow purple as well? It's a parasitic fae warped into a ring because of failed transformation. It's a part of transformation magic. It's a parasitic fae that got warped by a ring. Small metallic objects are known to repel or warp fairies when the transformation magic goes awry. But how do you know for sure that this one is a parasitic fae? He asks a good question. Normally the body of a parasitic fae will be revealed under black light. Yet, this one is just a ring, no matter how long I hold the black light on top of it. I think I must have missed something. There appears to be strong evidence pointing towards warrior involvement. Based on what you've shown me, parasitic fairies are one way or another connected to the manner of killing. But what you also haven't told me how the warrior fairies kill the victims. Give it to me straight. How do you figure the murderers were carried out? Warriors directed parasitic underlings to sap life, causing ossification and severe hallucinations. Warriors replaced victims with changelings and killed the changelings with ossification. But they also have... Warriors' ossification hallucination spells killed the victims and nearby parasitic fae. That doesn't explain why the things died. Warriors replaced victims with changelings and killed the changeling with ossification. Warriors' ossification and hallucination spells. Well, they wouldn't need the items for that. Well, yeah, I guess they would for killing the ossification and... But they wouldn't drink each other's blood, though, would they? That doesn't even make sense. Why would that? The warrior's ossification hallucination spells killed the victims and nearby parasitic fae. With changelings and killed the changeling. Yeah, that's clearly what had to happen, but like, why did they have the blue mark on their hand, though, if they weren't the real ones? The warrior high fae use their transformation magic to turn parasitic fae into human lookalikes of the victims, which are often called changelings. Changelings? I take out the crime scene photographs of middle-aged victims and lay them out on the table. Using the magnifying glass, there's the oddity in the victim's hands to Theo. This is one of the possible anomalies that is likely to happen due to the complexity of transformation magic used in creating changelings. As famous as these ladies' families are, it would have been a big thing on the papers if they had 6 fingers from when they were children. I don't seem to remember anything like that in the newspapers, do you? No, me neither. Theo looks away as though trying to remember all the newspapers he has read. It also explains the missing iron in the blood samples since the corpses are not human. I wait until Theo meets my gaze before continuing. They then murder the changelings using ossification and hallucination magic. It is done to cover up what they really did to the real humans. What they really did? Like what? It could be anything. The real humans might be kidnapped to the fairyland, destined to wed certain fairies and bring forth offspring, or be employed as a slave, or tortured for amusement until they die. I shiver at the thought of it happening to the poor ladies. Theo appears to be unsettled by the same thoughts as well. Hold on, are you saying that they might still be alive? There's a chance. Yet the realm of the fairies is still an enigma, even for those who study their kind. The Faeologists in this university have barely met any living fairies. You're aware of how fresh this field is with academia, aren't you? Theo nods. It pains me to admit that I genuinely do not know how to get them back. I will keep trying nonetheless. We both fell silent, as though a heavy weight had settled in our throats, refusing to budge. We can also look at this case from another angle. The motives. Based on your investigation, what could be the rationale behind the warrior fairies' actions? It's difficult to pinpoint the reason why fairies do what they do, since they don't follow human rules of morality. However, I found that warriors are targeting people blessed by the scribes. Okay, but if they changed them into them, why would they still have the mark, though? They weren't born with that. Maybe it's Maybelline. Warriors murder parasitic fairies because they're despicable, low fays. Warriors' hatred towards human may be the cause. Warriors are targeting people blessed by the scribe. That makes sense. Screw them. The three middle-aged are blessed by scribe fae, shown by the sigils on one of their hands. I say as I hover the black light on the top of the family photos one by one. I mentioned before that especially strong magic can be seen even through photographs. Yeah, I remember. He answers while taking the black light out of my hand and checking the sigils himself. 2 sigils light up on Miss Woolridge's family photograph and one on Miss Moore's. The sigil is a sign of being blessed by one of the scribe fae, usually given when someone has done a very special boon for a scribe. It gives good fortune and is passed down through generations. As you know, the middle-aged victims of their families are old, rich families that have stayed on top for many decades. That's how strong the magic is. Miss Moore was adopted, that's why it's only her who has it. Her late biological parents hailed from a distinguished and affluent lineage. Theo points at the faces in Miss Woolridge's photographs, and he's the biological father while the other two are step-family? I nod at him. I'm positively sure that should we check into Miss Niblet's family photograph, she and her children will display the same sigils. I'll see what I could do. Oh, and it's also meant as a warning for others not to harm the marked human. I guess that warning didn't work in this case, did it? No, it did not. Well, I suppose this does make sense, and it's a pattern. Yeah, this might be targeted murders. He then casts a glance my way with an air of satisfaction around him and breaks into a smile. Good job. Caught us a good boy/girl. I don't know where we're on this game. I guess it's up to us. My, considering how rarely he gives commendations, it sounds like a compliment of a lifetime. I can feel my confidence is going through the roof. Thank you. Lastly, what have you found on the poor girl Mary Hatcher? Any connection to the fairies? The chemist reports is similar to the case files. The blood is normal human blood, traces of arsenic. I didn't find any signs of fairy magic from the evidence. She mentioned that she might already be collecting purchase records from chemists all over the city. That's right. We're still investigating whether someone has a link to the girl. I see. I mean, we already know someone has a link to the girl. She was caught, arguing with her. The chemist's parents are a cosmetic company that produces the makeup powder and the evidence. She said it's popular among the upper-class ladies lately since they've gotten Mary Pickford to do the advertisements. He picks out a small notebook and a pen from his trench coat and starts writing. I'm not sure if this is useful. Every scrap of... He's right. Man's based. Every scrap of information counts. I'll have to note down the things we've talked about today as well. Your findings really threw me for a loop. I forgot to take notes. Of course, take your time. While Theo was writing, I tidied up my desk and put the evidence back in the box. Anything else you got? That's all I have for now. He puts his notebook and pen. He's not the least bit suspicious, freaked out or anything about, hey, I just saw a fae for the first time. This thing's dead. I saw a dead fae. It's real. He heaves a sigh so heavy I can believe he has the weight of the city on his shoulders. Even so, when he looks at me, there's a glint of something that wasn't there before. There may be something there that wasn't there before. This fleck of illumination is all the more stark since we've started this discussion. It's hope, perhaps. A tiny, delicate thing is blooming in this room to counteract the overwhelming darkness and despair outside. I always knew you were clever. Even though I feel there are still some missing pieces of this puzzle, you've done well. I'm quite impressed. Well, thank you, Theo. He answered with a soft smile. Well, we still got our work cut out for us. But at least for now, innocent people won't get thrown in jail, thanks to you. Yeah, good luck telling anybody about the Fae stuff, okay? I'm glad I could help. Now, I just need to convince the chief and the papers. Yeah, good luck with that, that's not my problem. Thing is, I might have to bring up your name in my report. I can't predict how the papers will handle this, but it's possible they'll mention you and Faeology. This is good for your field, of course. It's also really bad for Fae. Also, it's going to put a target on me for the Warriors. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. I'm out. But it could draw unwanted, dangerous attention. Yeah, I know. I know. Please don't do that. I'll be fine, Theo. I can protect myself. Plus, I have a Fae. This is what the field needs. Indeed, you're more than capable of taking care of yourself. I know that very well. I do appreciate you worrying over me. Theo's concern seems to fade, and he lets out a sigh of relief. Well, this day's certainly been a ride. He glances at his wristwatch. I still got time until I have to get back to the station. Fancy a drink with me? You can tell me more about fairies. I'll listen this way, less judgment this time. Just like I promised. Sure. Would you mind waiting until I finish grading a few assignments? It'll take 10 minutes at most. Go ahead. Focus my attention on the assignments. There's a minute of companionable silence. Okay. The scribbling in my pen is the only... That doesn't sound like a pen. It sounds like a pencil. Theo then speaks. You know what we should toast to when we drink? What? We could toast to being a good team. We're a team, aren't we? Aren't we? Or at least we should be. Your knowledge of the fairies is exactly what we need to make sense of all this mess. It's not just that. Your talent for investigation is as impressive as they come. If you act as a consultant in a high-profile case like this, you'd be handsomely compensated, of course. Imagine what those funds could do for your Faeology research. What do you think? Would you ever consider joining the investigation in an official capacity? I'll consider it. Oh, Senior Handsome Pants, let's go. We're getting crunk with the X. Ending number 1, Detective Duo. That was the ending? Of the demo or the game? I'm probably gonna end here. I don't know how much longer this goes. But I think I got a gist of it, and I'd like to save some for like when the game actually comes out. And I really don't know what's going to happen with this game. But thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, wishlist this game. It's called something in Faeology. I want to exit the game. How do I get back to the... Never mind. I'll just pull it up on Steam. It's called Death and Faeology. You can check out the demo yourself. It's on Steam. Or you can just wait for the game to come out. I don't know if it has a release date. Let me check store. I've been playing 17 minutes. It does not say 17 minutes. It did not update properly. I can tell you that right now. One friend wants this game. Well, Mama Al, guess what? I'm playing it first. Suck it. It does not say, has not been announced for a release date yet. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it, I guess. Hopefully it'll be this year. I wouldn't mind playing this game. I have recently gotten to visual novels in February, and I'm really digging them. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe, stay hydrated, take care of yourselves, and take care of somebody else. Also, check me out on twitch.tv/Empleh. Every Thursday we do demos and indie games. It's a good time. No alcohol required. Mwah! I made that up. I did not steal that from Ryan George.